Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Matterley Basin. It's round 9 of the FIM Motocross World Championship, the MXGP of Great Britain. It's just after 1 o'clock here, local time. The circuit absolutely perfect, all 1,950 meters of it. Great dirt, great atmosphere, great circuit, and a great part of the world. Of course, I'm going to say that unbiased, but all bias aside, we've thrown up some great racing here so far in all the other support classes. That's included the vets, the 250 European, 300 Europeans. It's now to go racing for the World Championship points. So MX2 race 1 is up next, 30 minutes plus 2 laps. And it's a championship that's really starting to take shape between the two Red Bull KTMs of Paul Jonas and Jorge Prado. Those two separated by just 22 points. And if yesterday is anything to go by, then maybe we might see that points gap come down slightly. Mid-20s in terms of the weather. That image was taken yesterday just to give you an overview of the circuit, but you can see we've got blue skies here. The music is up. These are the live images from the drone now, though, and you can see 1,950 meters long. What the camera doesn't show you is how steep some of those hills are. Even though it's a shallow valley, they do drop away, certainly on the step downs, and the ground is hard underneath, it's slick underneath. But let's take a look at the circuit in a little bit more detail, though.
Here we are then on the infield section of this impressive Matterley Basin circuit, and what is there not to like about it? It's flowing, the outfield is green, spectators can see from pretty much everywhere around this racetrack, and the riders love it. However, on this particular part of the racetrack, we saw at the Motocross of Nations a very difficult wave section. Now, you can see to the outside there is a sweeping line, a high line through the berm. Now, when the riders get that right, you can see here they're jumping straight in to this rhythm section. Now, what that means is left side a little bit lower, right side higher. If you get the right side right, you can triple, single your way through this section. It's 20 meters from point to point for the first triple, and the same again for the second section. But if you go inside, it's double, single all the way through. So if you get it right, you're saving a lot of time. You might be able to pass somebody. It will certainly look impressive when you do get it right. And obviously that's down to the riders to interpret how they get through this part of the racetrack. Not everyone will do it on every lap, but when you get it right, it will make a difference. So make sure when you're watching the race, you keep an eye out for this part of the racetrack, because we could see some real fun and games here and some real impressive passes as well.
A quick look then at that GoPro track preview on board with Max Anstey. Lisa Leyland was down on the grid a few moments ago with Adam Sterry, but before that, Hunter Lawrence. Let's hear what both these guys have to say ahead of the racing today.
Hello and welcome to the start here of the first MX2 race of the day. The sun's shining, it's a great atmosphere with the fans, and I want to catch up with a couple of the guys. The first being Hunter Lawrence. Hunter, last time we saw you was back in Latvia. Just give us an update on what happened and how you're feeling now.
Yeah, in Latvia, I qualified third, which was good, coming back from my injury on my hand. And first moto, I was sitting fourth and just had a bit of a crash. And yeah, it gave me head and knock and re-injured my hand, unfortunately. But we're happy to be back, you know, at an awesome track, beautiful weather and stuff. So we're just trying to finish 2 motos this weekend and Yeah, just ride time. You know, we rode twice before this weekend, so we're down on ride time, but we're just here to have fun and just get some ride time back for next weekend.
And also a track you've been very successful at, the Nations as well, really successful there last year, and of course you were P5 yesterday, extremely fast as well, may I add. What are you expecting? What are you hoping to achieve for today? What would be a reasonable result for you and the team?
Honestly, no expectations. I mean, yeah, it was good yesterday. I was feeling good, but today's a new day, so yeah, we'll go out and give 100% like always, you know, but we're just trying to, like I said, just get through this weekend and keep our heads screwed on and not do anything silly or push the limits too much. But yeah, we'll see how we go. Just focus on a good start and yeah, having fun.
Have a fantastic race. Thanks, Hunter. Okay, I'd like to grab a few words with Adam Sterry now, home rider, but we haven't seen you since Russia, have we? It's good to see you back at your home GP, but just give us an update on how you've been.
Yeah, after Russia, I was racing the Dutch Championship in Mill, and unfortunately I twisted my ankle on the takeoff of a jump, and yeah, I torn a ligament in there, so missed the last 2 rounds, and then we had a weekend off, so the plan was to get back for the home GP, and yeah, it's my favourite race of the year, so we did that, and yeah, I've rode once in 4 weeks just to try my ankle before this weekend, so it's been tough. So yesterday was going solid until I made a mistake in the qualifying race, and we've got a lot of hard work to do today.
So you're not 100% then, I'm guessing you're still feeling a bit of pain?
Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit, but yeah, when the adrenaline kicks in, then it's all right.
And of course, like you said, a home GP, you've been looking forward to coming back here. And a track that you've actually been on the podium. You won here in EMX in 2015 as well, so it must be a track that you quite like. Yeah,
I love this place. It's being the home GP, and the track's the most fun on one of the year. And yeah, you can't beat riding in front of the British fans, and for me that's very special and something that I take pride in doing. And yeah, like you said, I won the EMX here, so hopefully I can get a good start today and show that form.
Good luck. Have a great race. Thanks for that, Adam. Good luck to all the guys here. It's time for the first MX2 race.
Here's how the championship looks then in MX2 after 8 rounds. Paul Jonas leads his Red Bull KTM teammate Jorge Prado by 22 points. 41 further back is Thomas Kjær-Olsen on the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna, and then we've got Ben Watson for Khmer Yamaha official MX2, and Jed Beaton on FNH Kawasaki. He was on our studio show yesterday, or his team manager was actually. Calvin Belander in 6 for Team HRC, Yago Kiet 7, Henry Jacobi 8, David Fuchs and Michele Chervin riding a Yamaha this weekend for SM Action MC Migliori. So no longer at Martin Honda, and he looked very good yesterday in the qualifying race. Let's take a look at that now. In MX2 qualifying on Saturday, Jonas got a bit bumped around coming out of the gate over on the far left-hand side, but it was his teammate Prado who grabbed the whole shot from Thomas Kjær-Olsen. Holding a nice tight line, though, was Jonas, but up the inside was Ben Watson on the Khmer Yamaha 919, but he would go back to 4 at the bottom of the first downhill as Jonas came through to 3rd. Both the FNH Kawasaki's were up there. Adam Sterry with the lead Kawasaki rider ahead of his teammate number 14, Jed Beaton. And Michele Chervin on that new Yamaha was muscling his way side by side with Calvin Belander, and for HRC, he was in around about 10th place at that time. Circuit was hard and slick in places in the afternoon. You can see with the watering as well, some of the ruts got nice and deep and tacky. There was a lot of grip out there on this Matterley Basin racetrack. Josh Gilbert, 326, was riding as a wild card. He was also well placed, just outside of the top 10, and he would eventually go on to finish in 14th place, sorry. Adam Sterry, though, spun up on the opening lap, went all the way down to 30th, and 3-2-1, Samuele Bernardini out of about 13th place as well, as Jed Beaton started getting a bit close to the 747 of Michele Chervin as they battled over 7th place. Thomas Kjær-Olsen was circulating in 3rd, keeping the number 1 of Paul Jonas in his sights, but you can see Prado was starting to disappear into the distance. First attempt didn't go according to plan for Jed Beaton as he tried to find his way into 6th. Meanwhile, the two Hondas, the factory Honda Team HRC of 10 Valandren and the 114 Honda Motorsports rider Hunter Lawrence were battling, as Beaton did get himself up the inside into 6 around about the halfway point of the race. But up front, Jorge Prado doing a fantastic job and having fun on his Red Bull KTM as the two Hondas continue to battle. Hunter Lawrence found his way up the inside of Valandren, though, to get himself into 5th. Valandren would eventually drop down to 7th as Jed Beaton started to carve his way through the field. He'd made the one pass on Chervelin, but then Valandren had a bit of a moment there that allowed Beaton to get up close. And as the South African went wide, the Australian carved his way down the inside, parked his Kawasaki there, and that was Beaton into 5th. Couldn't do anything about fellow Australian Hunter Lawrence, though. And in the end, Hunter Lawrence also tried a last-ditch effort on Ben Watson, who circulated in 4th, but it was Prado from Jonas, Thomas Kjær-Olsen, Ben Watson 4, Hunter Lawrence 5, and Jed Beaton was 6 in MX2 qualifying. Great atmosphere here at this MXGP of Great Britain, the British Grand Prix at Matterley Basin, 1,950 metres long, the racetrack. It's such a massive area. Fans just able to see the circuit from wherever they decide to sit, and just enjoying the sun here and soaking up the atmosphere before the gate drops and the thunderous roars of 4 strokes blast around this valley at one of the most picturesque circuits on the MXGP calendar. Here's how the riders line up then for the MXGP of Great Britain for MX2 Race 1. Jorge Prado on pole after winning the qualifying race on Saturday. Pauls Jonas was behind him. And then we've got Thomas Kjær-Olsen, Ben Watson, Hunter Lawrence, Jed Beaton, Calvin Valandren, Michele Chervelin, Ika Laranaga on the team, Diga Procross Husqvarna this weekend, and Ruben Fernandez rounding out the top 10. Conrad Muse for Hitachi Acer KTM is next, and then we've got Darian Sanai, Thomas Covington, Josh Gilbert, who was 14th, riding as a wild card at his home round yesterday. Henry Jacobi goes to line 15th, ahead of Jago Geertz, Anthony Rodriguez, Marshall Welton, David Porches. You saw the rest as they take to the grid. Prado, though, was the man yesterday that everybody had to beat. And he comes in here having won last time out in Germany, the overall for his 3rd Grand Prix victory of the season. But yesterday, Prado took his 5th qualifying race, win his 3rd on the bounce, winning in Latvia, Germany, and now here at Matterley Basin. There's his Red Bull KTM teammate, Pauls Jonas. He was 2nd in the qualifying race. What's he got up his sleeve today, though? Certainly in terms of the style of the racetrack, maybe more suited to the younger, more flamboyant Jorge Prado. Ben Watson, just trying to get focused. The Khmer Yamaha official MX2 rider, riding at home. He was 4th in qualifying. He wasn't that great in pre-practice and time training yesterday. They were his own words on the pre-grid interview with Lisa Leyland at the start of the MX2 qualifier. But he got a good start, and he was just able to hang in there in 4th behind this guy, Thomas Kjær-Olsen, TKO on the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna. Calvin Valandren, well, he's never had any great luck here. He was on our MXGP TV studio show yesterday, and he's hoping to turn that around today if he can. Jed Beaton has never been here, full stop. Put in a good performance to come home in 6th behind his fellow Australian Hunter Lawrence. Hunter Lawrence, of course, back from injury, having rang his bell and re-injured his hand in the first race in Latvia a couple of weeks ago. Thomas Covington, well, it wasn't great for him yesterday, 13th, but he knows this place very, very well. In fact, it was his debut appearance here that got him signed up to MX2 all those years ago. Hunter Lawrence rocking the new shift kit, looking very, very stylish indeed, young man. But 15-second board goes up, 30 minutes plus 2 laps. All the race durations here for MX2 and MXGP. A little later on, Jeffrey Hurling's up in the skybox, looking down on the grid to see how the gate drop goes here for MX2 Race 1. The gate drops for the first time of asking. And it's Prado again who cuts across everybody, and his teammate tucked in right behind him. But who will it be that grabs that foxhole shot? Oh, it's tight before the 2 KTMs. Between the 2 KTMs, it may have just been Prado. And if that's the case, Jorge Prado now on 10, but charging downhill for the first time. Jonas runs his teammate wide as he strikes early here on the opening lap and keeps him to the outside as well. And Thomas Kjær-Olsen off the side of the track loses a couple of positions and re-emerges just in front of Lawrence down at turn 1. Well, it doesn't rain, it pours, doesn't it? He's just like, you know what, just give me the bike here, just let me get back into the race. So Hunter Lawrence parked at turn 1, and the riders down on the deck elsewhere. So Hunter Lawrence then rejoins at the back of the pack as Jonas leads his teammate Prado. Third is Ruben Fernandez, number 70 for F&H Kawasaki, another man down at the bottom of the hill there as well. And I think Thomas Kjær-Olsen of Covington actually in 4th place. So Fernandez third, 64 of Covington is in 4th. Thomas Kjær-Olsen was in 5th, but he did run off track as he got pushed wide on the first step up. Is he still there? Yeah, he is. Look, the big tall Dane looking to go around the outside of his American teammate. Then we've got Chervelin, 747 on that new Yamaha of his. Then Valandrin, number 10, in 8th place. Rodriguez just behind him in 9th. And Watson right there as well, I believe. Or was it just Rodriguez? No, Watson buried in about 18th place. As Covington runs it up the inside, but gets closed down by Ruben Fernandez, the young Spaniard. Finished 3rd in the European 250 Championship last year, taking out some of the awkward ruts ahead of this first race. After the European action, see there, the machines have been out, but that will start to churn out as this one goes on. Jacoby up to about 11th. He was about 15th at the first split. Here's Hunter Lawrence. We'll probably see a replay of the start, no doubt, of everybody going in through that first turn and Hunter Lawrence going down. A little bit front end high there for Covington. But over the line for the first time, one of the Famo Hondas is well placed in there. To see who that is as he hits the line, might be Marshall Welton. So Jonas leads, Prado, Fernandez, Covington, Thomas Kjær-Olsen 5th, Chervelin 6th, Valandrin 7th, Sterry 8th, Rodriguez 9th, Welton is 10th, so the American did get a good start. 11th for Jacoby, 12 Ika Larinaga, Bellotti 13th, Borges 14th place. Nicely done there from Jorge Prado. 15th, Bernardini, 16, Josh Gilbert, Jed Beaton, 17, Sakina, 18, Watson, 19, and Sanai in 20th place. Zach Pichon in 25th, Conrad Muse, 26, Yago Hietz, 27, and Herberto and Lawrence right at the back. We'll get an indication of lap times next time around when they hit the finish line for the to complete the first official full lap. But the two Rockstar Energy Husqvarnas, Linus Stern as Calvin Valandrin and Michele Chervelin battle over 6th place at the bottom of the hill. Chervelin on that blue machine, now riding for Yamaha SM Action, MC Migliori. And just behind Valandrin is Rodriguez. He's found his way past Adam Sterry. So the 127 on the Khmer Yamaha. There he is, just behind. Or has Adam Sterry found his way back past? No, he hasn't, I don't think. But Welton, 56, and Jacoby, 29. Fighting over 10th place in the early stages of MX2 Race 1. So they carved a brand new line there for everybody to go inside in that off-camber. That was a nice tricky corner before they did that. Covington looking to go around the outside of the Spaniard and succeeds. Or does he? Fernandez just hangs it around the outside and Covington makes a mess of the turn on the exit. So Fernandez stays there in 3rd place on that green Kawasaki for F&H Racing. All the while his teammate Thomas Kjær-Olsen, TKO to his friends and fans. Keeping a watching brief over the number 64 just ahead of him. TKO in 5th place at the moment. Chervelin still 6th. Valandrin 7. And Sterry back up the inside, I think. May have gone up the inside of Valandrin, did he? Let's have a look. No, Welton in 8th. Sterry in 9th place. Rodriguez 10. Jacoby 11. Thomas Kjær-Olsen charging down on his teammate at the bottom of the hill, but here's Sterry trying to go after Welton at the top of the hill on his Kawasaki, goes to the inside. Welton, the American, to the outside. Just behind him, Anthony Rodriguez on that 127. Kamir Yamaha. We've not seen Marshall Welton up in the sharp end in a while. Got some decent points last time out, though, in Germany, and that was good to see. But Vlaanderen giving chase to Chervelin, who continues to hold on to that 6th position. And Welton to the outside. He's going to be enjoying his time up front here, no doubt about that. Back with Fernandez on the F&H, racing Kawasaki. Guys deciding not to triple in at the moment. Maybe it's just a little bit greasy on the outside approach. When you get it right, triple, triple, single. Having a fantastic ride here, the young Spaniard in that 3rd place. Covington and Kjær-Olsen, though, the 2 Rockstar Energy Husqvarnas, fighting over supremacy within that team. Track nice and open, nice and flowing. Behind these guys, we've got Chervelin, Vlaanderen, Welton, Sterry, Rodriguez, Jacobi, Larinaga, Beaton, Porches and Gilbert. Watson now to 15th place. He's still got 23 minutes plus 2 to go in which to advance further up the field, but not the easiest place to overtake on at the moment. These two separated by 1.5 seconds, though. And after qualifying yesterday, number 1, Paul Jonas, knew he had to get the good start. He had to get the drop on his teammate. And if he didn't, he had to be right there within striking distance. And that's exactly what he did on the opening lap. Here's 3rd, 4th and 5th, the Kawasaki of Fernandez, the Husky of Covington, followed by his teammate, Thomas Kjær-Olsen. There's Chervelin getting closer as well in 6th place on that Yamaha. Then Vlaanderen for HRC in 7th. 56th and Marshall Welton for Jumbo No Fear Vermo Honda. Then the other Kawasaki of F&H, Adam Sterry in 9th, and Rodriguez for Kamir Yamaha. They're at the bottom of the hill, just behind these guys here. So we've got a battle for 3rd. And then we've got a whole bunch of riders. Vlaanderen's finally found his way past Chervelin, unless it's one of those regular timing glitches. Soon find out when we go wide, I guess. No, he's still in there, I think, Chervelin. Still in 6th position. These two, though, nothing in it between them. Intense battle for 3rd and 4th. And Fernandez hanging on to that 3rd. We're going to go down and talk to his team manager, Nathalie Falzay.
Natalie, we see Ruben Fernandez in 3rd position at the moment. He seems to really enjoy this track.
Yeah, this is his favorite track, so this is really impressive. He's still 20 minutes to go, but it's good so far.
Thank you.
Yeah, get back to the action, Natalie. See what your young Spanish rider can do, but looking very impressive at the moment. Doesn't look phased or flustered either, does he? Ruben Fernandez drops downhill on lap 3 then. MX2 race 1 here at the 9th round of the FIM Motocross World Championship, the MXGP of Great Britain at Matterley Basin. He's got close company in the form of 64 and the 19 of Thomas Covington and Thomas Kjær-Olsen. And look at that, the mistake from Olsen. And Vlaanderen closes in. He's found his way past the Yamaha of Chervelin, who's lost 2 or 3 places. So we've now got Vlaanderen for Team HRC in 6th place. Marshall Welton for Jumbo No Fear Vermo Honda. That's him working his way towards us, just behind Vlaanderen here. Marshall Welton, the American. Then Adam Sterry for F&H. Chervelin, 9. for Yamaha SM Action, MC Migliori. See him at the bottom of the hill. Look at that fight at the bottom of the hill here behind these guys. 6 or 7 riders behind this battle for third. You never know which way it's going to go. There's Vlaanderen out on his own. Right, there's Welton, and look at this battle here, this freight train. Chervelin, Sterry, Rodriguez down the inside of Sterry. The Welshman runs it wide. Working their way back up the hill. Behind them we've got Jacobi and Ika Laranaga. As we go back to the battle for third. Fernandez, got to be careful not to go too wide. He holds a nice tight line though. Everything filters into this one line now. That outside has been made redundant with that crafting down the inside there. You see nobody using the outside anymore. Why would you? One of those corners that had so much, so many different lines and ruts in it. Covington, drops into a rut just in time. Watch this here. Covington had to pull out of that one. Now looks to go around the outside of the Spaniard at the bottom of the hill. He gets pushed wide though. So Fernandez, how much more can he take? How long can he sustain this pressure from the American? Covington, who looks to jump long up the inside. He's short though on the landing. They've dropped Vlaanderen for now. And then in the background, look at that, 4 riders still fighting over 7th place. This time, Covington might just find his way down the inside, but he might get squeezed again. Hard on the brakes to make that inside. Ruben Fernandez in 3rd place on that Kawasaki. Playing into the hands nicely of the South African Vlaanderen. Just behind these, though, the 4th rider off the back of this group for Team HRC. Vlaanderen in 6th place. Welton still in 7th, Chervelin 8th, 9th is Anthony Rodriguez. There he is, just dropping downhill now in the opposite direction on the first of the blue bike. Chervelin goes down. Chervelin down at the bottom of the hill. He picks himself up. I'm sure it was Chervelin. Yep, just spins round. Works his way back towards us, the 747. So he's up. But there's Brent Van Donnik anyway for Team Diga Procross. And there's Chervelin. So that 5-rider battle now just been blown apart. A couple of guys have escaped that tussle as the Italian just spun out at the bottom of the hill. Darian Sinai looking menacing though on that bike at DRT Kawasaki. Covington got a pitch there on the takeoff. Kier Olsen got a pitch. He's alongside his teammate now though. And he might even get Fernandez at the top of the hill as well. Great bit of riding from the Dane. And Covington goes to the outside. Goes grass tracking. Had no alternative there. He didn't lose a position, didn't gain a position either. But then in the whole thing there, the 10 of Vlaanderen goes through on Thomas Kier Olsen. He was sat back about a second behind these guys. Then they started tripping each other up. And he's been there to pick up the pieces, number 10, Vlaanderen. So all of a sudden, he moves up into 5th place. And Covington looking to make a move there at the moment. He may have just found his way past, but has he found his way through? I think he may have done. While we cut away, yes, he has. He must have passed him on the step down there. Hoping we'll see a replay of that in a moment, because Covington, he's been persistent in trying to get that move from that 3rd place from Ruben Fernandez. You see him set him up at the top of the hill. We got alongside him, we cut away to the replay. And we come back and he's into 3rd. And Vlaanderen right there, ready to pounce as well. So Covington 3rd, number 64, Rockstar Energy Husqvarna. Here is how he did it. Took a nice tight line, got on the gas. This time he was bar to bar with Fernandez. Stayed a little bit lower, got the wheels on the ground, and was able to outbrake the Spaniard this time around before the 70 pushed him wide. Not a lot of margin for error there, though. Not much room for manoeuvre. So Fernandez 4th, Valandren 5th on that red Honda. 6th, Thomas Olsen. Number 19 as he looks to go up the inside of the South African to regain a position he lost in the wave section a lap ago. And Valandren looking to dive down the inside. He goes from left to right, and again, great intuitive riding there from Valandren. 2 positions in 2 laps as he advances towards the front of the field, going after Covington. Good pace for 56 Marshall Welton as well. They're in 7th place on that Jumbo No Fear Vamo Honda, and Kier Olsen not able to go through on Fernandez there. Look at the ride that Marshall Welton's having, the young American. 2 Americans inside the top 7 here, incidentally. And Adam and Darren Sinai, who was just on the back of those guys, has lost a couple of positions. Oh, and there he is, just picking himself up. So the 57, Darren Sinai, rejoins in, what, 16th place. As Thomas Olsen down the inside of Ruben Fernandez. Fernandez chasing the dirt. It might work in his favour, but just runs out of room there as the track tightens up in favour of the 19 of Olsen. Look at Welton. Welton, the 3rd rider in shot, the American, number 56 for Jumbo No Fear Vamo Honda. There he is. He's been right there the whole race, and he's closed in on this battle. He's had some issues at the start of the year, but he's definitely got that Honda working right now. And look at him going around the outside of Fernandez here. Haven't seen him at the sharp end at all. 32nd in the championship before we came here. He's had an 18th in the 4th motor of the year, round 2 in Valkenswaard. He hasn't been on the radar until he got a 14th in the 2nd race, last time out in Germany. And here he is, suffering a little bit of altitude sickness because he's way up inside the top 10 and going after Fernandez, and this is for 6th place. And launches down past the Spaniard, and who's going to come out on top on this one here? Oh, nicely done, but got squeezed to the outside. Again, just using those momentum lines around the outsides, just trying to keep that Honda fired up as he hangs off the back, doubles his way through those middle waves. And this time, he may just pick off Fernandez. Drag race to the bottom of the hill here. He will have to close the door. And the American, well, he actually kept it out there and improvised somehow. Great bit of riding then from Welton. Goes up into 6th. Good ride, fella. Obviously feels at home on this racetrack. Fernandez, he was up at the sharp end in 3rd for much of this race. We've got 11 minutes plus 2 to go. We've had 6 laps so far. We're on lap 7. Fernandez, though, still looking at a best finish in MX2. But Marshall Welton just starting to pull clear. The next person behind is Ika Laranaga on the Team Diga Procross Husqvarna. As Covington goes back after Valandren, Kier Olsen goes back after Valandren. These two duking it out for 4th place. The number 10 there in that 4th, a little bit scrappy through that turn though. Right, Lisa's down in the grid.
Stephen, Marshall's pushing a really fast pace at the moment. He's staying up there at the sharp end. Is this a track that he enjoys?
Yeah, he really is enjoying the track, and the weekend in general. We made some improvements on the bike this weekend, suspension-wise, engine-wise, and he made a mental click, and he's really pushing it now. I think it's still 10 minutes to go. I hope we can keep the pace and have maybe even a top 5 result. He's running 6-7 now, so it's possible. Yeah, really great.
Best of luck. Thank you.
Good to hear from the team down there at Jumbo No Fear Vamo Honda as Marshall Welton continues to circulate in 6th place. But on the ropes here, number 10, Valandren, as he gets pushed by Olsen. Thomas Olsen parks it down the inside of Verlandren, who almost has a word with one of our sponsors there. But he continues to dig around the outside as Olsen takes away the line from the South African on that Honda. So Laranaga finding his way past fellow Spaniards. Is he? Yes or no? Round the outside. Whoa, he puts a squeeze on the exit of the turn. Great bit of riding that from Ika Laranaga. Of course, he was riding for Ottaviano Husqvarna up until Germany, but same bike, different team this weekend at Team Diga Procross, and he moves up into 7th place now. So Fernandez gets pushed down to 8th. Just thinking about Marshall Welton actually circulating in 6th place for Jumbo No Fear Vamo Honda. Did a couple of GPs as wildcards last year. One of them was Czech Republic. He had 2 11th place finishes there. Didn't score in the sand at Lommel, but this 5th place by far his best performance as Darian Sinai out of the race after making a mistake. He'll be disappointed with that because he's had a good feeling with this place over the years, particularly in his EMX2 days, 250 European days. He was 2nd here with a win and a 2nd when we came here last time out in 2016 behind the eventual winner Stevie Clark. And it's, of course, the home race, the local track to the team he rides for, Bike It DRT Kawasaki. Steve Dixon, probably 20 minutes or so from here. Bike It as well, a big part of that program. They're also a local main sponsor for that team. In fact, their hospitality just on the approach to the finish line up on the left-hand side there. Right, here's Prado going after his teammate. 2.3 seconds down, being urged on. Both guys are being urged on as they go past pit lane, Jonas and Prado. Waiting for 3rd to come over the line. Covington 29.5 seconds behind Prado. Thomas Olsen. So we've got 2 Red Bull KTMs leading the way, 2 Rockstar Energy Husqvarnas 3rd and 4th. Verlandren for Team HRC in the background there in 5th. Marshall Welton, good to see the American on the Jumbo No Fear Vamo Honda right up at the sharp end in 6th in this first MX2 race here at round 9 of the FIM Motocross World Championship. Ika Laranaga for Team Diga Procross. Husqvarna is 7th. Sterry FNH Kawasaki is now the lead FNH rider in this race. 9th is Ben Watson. Wow, what a performance Ben Watson's put in for Kamir Yamaha as Olsen charges up the inside of Covington. Runs him wide. Covington can't get over the tabletop on the plateau there. So we still have the 2 Rockstar guys in 3rd and 4th, but now it's Olsen who is in 3rd place. Covington in 4th position. Slight bobble there for Olsen as he looks to ask quite a lot from that rear tyre through that sweeping turn at the top of the hill. There was a quick glimpse of Watson at the bottom of the hill in the opposite direction in 9th for Kamir Yamaha as these two continue to battle. Actually, just looking at the gaps here, Watson is about a second behind, 1.5 seconds behind Adam Sterry, about 2.5 seconds or so down on Ika Laranaga. And in terms of lap times, Watson 2:29.7, Sterry 29.7, Laranaga 29.5. So all very, very similar. Difference is Watson has had to fight from outside the top 20. So with 6 minutes plus 2 to go, Jonas continues to lead. Prado 2nd. Covington is now 4th. Second rider in shot there behind his teammate Thomas Kjær Olsen. Verlandren 5. Welton still there in 6th. 7th is Laranaga. 8th Sterry. 9 Watson. 10 Henry Jacobi STC Racing Husqvarna. Jed Beaton is 11, and then 12 is Ruben Fernandez after staying in 3rd for the first 6 or 7 laps of the race. This was Thomas Kjær Olsen running Verlandren wide a couple of laps ago. Look at the ground he's had to make up to his teammate at the top of the hill there as well. And this was the pass just a moment ago. Stayed nice and low, soaked up the waves. Olsen now in 3rd. A little bit further down the order, Fernandez now 12th. Rodriguez, Anthony Rodriguez, riding the 127 from Venezuela for Kamir Yamaha official MX2. He is in 11th place. Ruben Fernandez 12 now. Michele Chervelin 13. Porches 14 for LRT KTM. Josh Gilbert 15. Van Donnick also on Team Diga Procross is in 16th place. Conrad Muse for Hitachi Acer KTM is 17. Jago Hietz for Kamiya Yamaha is 18. Sakina is in 19th place for JD Gunnex KTM, and in 20th it's Jed Beaton, not having the kind of round that he would have wanted after finishing 6th in the qualifying race yesterday. Paul Jonas looking immaculate at the head of the field though, number 1. He just set the fastest lap of the race that time around on lap 9 with a 2:25.0, just 3 tenths quicker than Prado, but that gap is 2.6 seconds. Neither one of these two can afford a slip-up. 22 points between them coming into race 1. That'll be 25 if Jonas brings this one home with a win. That means he'll have one moto clear of his teammate. It'll be his 10th race win of the year as well if he manages to bag it. Covington hasn't given up the fight. Got a team report coming up with these guys in MXGP race 1 as well, behind the scenes with Rockstar Energy Husqvarna MX2 side. And team trainer Rasmus Jorgensen will talk about strengths and weaknesses, positives for these two guys. And one of them is coming to fruition right now regarding Thomas Covington, as he goes back after his teammate Olsen as they fight over 3rd place. Philandren just riding a lonely race now in 5th place for Team HRC. Is about 5 seconds clear of the other Honda rider in this top 10, and that of course Marshall Welton for Jumbo No Fear Varmo Honda. Where is Hunter Lawrence actually? He's 27th, but I guess he's parked it now. He went down in turn 1. So the Honda 114 Motorsport rider, not the fairy tale to return to action here at Matterley after winning the MX2 class at the FIA Monster Energy Motocross of Nations in October of last year. Nothing between the two Huskies of Olsen and Covington. Here's Welton, bottom of his shot. Around the outside, Ika Larinaga. Ben Watson has got himself into contention. Charges down the inside of the Spaniard. Clips the monster board on the way up the hill there. Still got some work to do. Does make that on his own. He's got the side panel red shroud hanging off the side of that Yamaha. So he's obviously been having a little bit of bump and grind on his way through the field. Ben Watson, or maybe he just caught it there and then. If we see a replay of that, maybe we'll see that the bike is intact as he charged down there. Oh! Beaton and Larinaga. Oh, sorry, is it Sterry? Sterry, oh no, it is Beaton. Beaton and Larinaga. Check this out. Right, I'm just trying to work this out then, because Beaton is showing us 26 in the race, yet he's in there mixing it with Ika Larinaga, who is, or was, in 7th place. So has there been a transponder issue for Jed Beaton? Interesting. I guess we'll find out with the lap chart when the official results come out, because, you know, the guys aren't even lapping those guys yet. So I think we must have had a transponder issue there. Very strange. Anyway, here is 747. Michele Chervelin in around about 14th place. Fernandez just behind. Right, he's just found his way past, so they've swapped. Chervelin now 13. In the closing stages of MX2 race 1. Misha Boy DeWaal, teammate to Marshall Welton at Jumbo No Fear Vamo Honda. He just decides, you know what, just go back to the waiting zone, go back to the paddock, sack this one off. So we've got Jonas leading the way. The strangest thing that we've just seen then is Jed Beaton getting in a bit of a tussle with the 66 of Larinaga. Was he there the whole time? So I guess we'll have to wait and see. on the backup transponders. Well, yeah, he's there in 11th place, so not sure what's happened. Obviously a major glitch there because Beaton in 11th place now has been reinstated into the results. So 3 laps to go. Jonas leads still 2.3 seconds over his Red Bull teammate Jorge Prado. 3rd, Thomas Kjær-Olsen. 4th, Thomas Covington. 5th, Calvin Villana. And 6th, Marshall Welton. Ben Watson, an outstanding ride to get through to 7th here. 8th is Jacoby. 9, Adam Sterry. Anthony Rodriguez is 10. And Prado looking like he might be closing ever so slightly now. Saving the best till last, possibly. Jed Beaton, 11, Chervlin, 12, Fernandez, 13, Larinaga, 14, Gilbert, 15, Josh Gilbert, riding as a wild card here in his home round. Brent Van Donnick is 16, Conrad Muse, 17, David Porch is 18, Jago Kietz, 19, Richard Chikina, 20. I'll tell you what, and when you look at that, Conrad Muse won't be happy that he's being beaten by Josh Gilbert here. Those two will ride together at the in the British Championship, of course. Right, it was 2.3. Might be a slight bobble there from Prado. A bit of a kick there on the finish line. 2.3 again for Prado. 2 to go. Definitely had its moments, hasn't it, this track, this race. Keeping a very cool head at the head of the field. Pauls Jonas managing the situation as he keeps his teammate behind him. This battle, though, could end in tears. 19, Thomas Kjær-Olsen hanging on to 3rd from his teammate Thomas Covington. Larinaga and Fernandez still going for it here. Larinaga just finding his way past for the 2nd time in the race, actually, because he put it on a great pass, didn't he, earlier on in the race. And here's Watson. He's just found his way past Jacoby, so that's him in 7th position, just behind Marshall Welton. So Welton, who's been right there for the entire 12 laps so far, is he going to be denied a top 6 finish by the hard-charging Ben Watson? And Covington is now past Thomas Olsen. Great move. Watch this here, over the jump, alongside. And again, going for that last race pass that he's so good at. We saw it in Trentino, we've seen it in Sweden last year. This time he inflicts that same kind of treatment on his teammate, Thomas Kjær-Olsen, the American Thomas Covington. Never giving up right until the final checkered flag. He's 3rd. There's Anstey. Max Anstey just having a look through the infield section ahead of his first race in MXGP a little later on. But just over a lap to go. Pauls Jonas still dogged by his teammate Jorge Prado. That's not 2.3 seconds. He's going to make a last-ditch effort here. There's the young Spaniard. Jonas at the moment, who won the first 6 races of the season. He's currently on 9 race wins so far in 2018. His young teammate didn't get going until the first race in Italy, where he was victorious. Then he took a double moto win to make it 3. He's now on 5 wins at the moment, looking to make it 6 here if he can displace the number 1 ahead of him. And you can see the gap, 1.1 as they came over the line. He was almost down the exhaust pipe of Jonas as they went into turn 22, the final corner on the track. And Thomas Kjær-Olsen has a problem with his Husqvarna. He's trying to fire it into live, and that's gone wrong for the Big Dane. 4th position. He's trying to bump start it. Watch this here. He's just going to pull up. I tell you what, that is very lucky, because he lands off the finish line, off the jump over on the far side, and then all of a sudden, bike goes. Nothing. Nothing. Moments earlier, and that would have been through the front door, over on that jump at the top of the hill there, going from left to right. So a bit of an escape then for the 19, and you don't want to be pushing your bike back after 30 minutes plus 1 lap, do you? Oh, battle here. Jonas with his hands full. And Prado all over the back of him now. He wants this win. He wants to get that gap down. It's 25 at the moment. It was 22 at the start of the race. He wants to get it to less than 20 if he can. And Jonas knows about the tenacity of his teammate. Through the tight left, into the waves. Difficult part of the racetrack. You see the rut starting to edge out there. Prado knows he can't afford a slip-up. If he's to take this one right the way down to the final checkered flag, he has to hit the brakes there. He gets parked in that corner. That might have been the mistake that Jonas needed to prevent the 61 coming by him. Marshall Welton still in 5th, Watson still in 6th now. So Welton in 5th because of the demise of Thomas Kjær Olsen. It's not often you see a factory Husqvarna or a factory KTM for that matter. There is Olsen there. He's just decided, you know what, the mechanics can come and get that later. 2 corners to go. Has Jonas done just enough to stay ahead of his teammate, who continues to push? Final turn, Paul's Jonas. It was 1.1 as they hit the line a lap ago. They hit the line now, and it's been a real showcase. Late, 0.8 of a second between them as Jonas wins from Prado. Here's Covington, still waiting to hit the line, but Valandren will be 4th. Welton maybe 5th, depends on if he can hold off Ben Watson or not. Watson, a fantastic ride, still giving himself a shot of a podium here today at home. That'll be nice. 3 corners to go for Thomas Covington. He was ahead of his teammate, got passed by his teammate, found his way back past, and then his the bike from next door decided to expire with a lap and a bit to go. But 3rd in the race, a great performance from the American Thomas Covington for Rockstar Energy Husqvarna. But I tell you what, the mechanics will be stripping both those bikes down after this one. Valandren hangs on for Team HRC in 4th, and so far so good for the South African. He was on the podium, of course, in Germany 2 weekends ago, round 8.
Paul Jonas, congratulations, your 10th race win of the year, but you really had your hands full with your teammate at the end there.
Yeah, no, this was again one more model where we and Jorge battled it out, and you know, I got a pretty decent start. I was just behind Jorge, and he made a little mistake in second corner, so I managed to pass him over there, and which is pretty good because I think in this track, if you're same speed, you need to really go for a block pass. So you know, I was not really happy with my riding. I still need to improve a little bit, but overall happy with the win, and looking forward to do the same in the second model.
Okay, good luck for the second race. Thank you.
Paul Jonas then takes the first win of the afternoon here at Matterley Basin. 10 wins in the books now for the Latvian. He lost out to his teammate in the overall stakes 2 weeks ago in Germany, where they traded wins and seconds. Will it be the same again this weekend, or will Jonas put that right? That's how far it was between them, just 0.8 of a second. Official confirmation coming up now then. Paul Jonas and Jorge Prado, Red Bull KTM's 1 and 2. Thomas Covington for Rockstar Energy Husqvarna was 3rd. Valandren, Team HRC 4. Welton, Varmo, Jumbo No Fear, Varmo Honda 5. Watson, Khmer Yamaha 6. Jacoby STC Racing 7. Beaton FNH 8. Rodriguez 9. Chervelin 10. 11th for Larinaga. Sterry 12. Fernandez, Muse, Van Donnick, Heerts, Gilbert, Purchas, Zakina and Pichon. Here's how it happened though. And be interesting to see how tight it was. And that was Watson getting stuck on the line there, right at the back. Look, that's why he was so far back. Hunter Lawrence got caught on the exit of the turn, and he got hit as well from behind. No wonder he was a little bit beaten up coming out of the turn. Striking first, so bottom of the first downhill. Jonas ran his teammate wide and took the lead. And from there, they were never more than a couple of seconds apart for the entire race. Olsen ran wide there, but he maintained that 4th place behind his teammate Covington. But 3rd, Ruben Fernandez. He found his way past the American Covington on his FNH Racing Kawasaki. The 2 KTMs started to pull clear at the head of the field, though, led out by Jonas. Rodriguez charged down the inside of Sterry, but Sterry managed to hold on for a little while longer. Eventually came home in 8th place, but Fernandez was having the ride of his life in 3rd for the first 6 laps. But then the Huskies started to gang up on him. A slight off-track excursion there for Covington. Didn't lose or gain any positions there as he ran out off the track. But then eventually, after a few laps, 6 in total, Covington did eventually go around the outside of the Spaniard. He tried a lap or so earlier, got ran wide by the number 70. And then thick and fast, the attacks came. Verlanderen went through. Thomas Kjær-Olsen also went through a little later on. And so too did Marshall Weltin, who eventually came home in 5th position after spending much of the race in 6th. And that was at the demise of Thomas Kjær-Olsen. Larranaga made that move around the outside and dropped to the inside of Fernandez. And he was up in the sharp end as well, but then he would have a kerfuffle and a bit of a tussle with Jed Beaton as Olsen got his way into 3rd. This was that moment. Beaton and Larranaga. No traffic wardens to issue any tickets there, though. Covington got his way back into 3rd, and then moments after that, his teammate over on the far side of the circuit came in to land off the double, and his bike let go. No points for the rider 3rd in the championship. Final turn, though, that's how close it was. 0.8 of a second between Jonas and Prado. Covington was 3rd, Verlanderen and Weltin. A top 5 finish for the American, and congratulations to Marshall Weltin and everybody at Jumbo No Fear Vamo Honda for that fantastic result here in MX2 Race 1. Right, let's get our breath. Let's take a quick look at the foxhole shot. It was a tight one. Wow, very tight, but it's gone to Jorge Prado, I believe. So Jorge Prado with 10 now. 10 black plates, all gathering dust somewhere in Belgium. Jonas 3, then we've got 4 riders on 1. TKO, Jacoby Porches and Hunter Lawrence for the first one of the year in Argentina. Whew, time to get our breath back. I might put my feet up like that fellow for a few moments. Let's take a look at some of the best moments, though, from MX2 Race 1. Some of the best moments then from MX2 Race 1. We'll come back in just a couple of moments for MXGP Race 1. We'll see you then.